The place was actually initiated by the municipality to begin with, as a place where people without work could come out and work with creative things. And so it quite fast became a popular place among artists to have a studio. And then 6 years later, the municipality wanted to close down the place. And so all the artists out here worked really hard and succeeded in having an agreement with the municipality to take over the place. It has been artist-driven since then. It has developed from being a municipality place for unemployed people to being a professional artist-driven space where we have around 70 working artists.
In the beginning, they gave us some money, but there was a change, and they decided they didn't want to give more money, and then we got 1 year to prove we could do it on ourselves. We could get the money that we needed. So the house was here, there was a lot of artists here, but what I did was to double up the number of artists, the rent for the artists, and make it more efficient. So we're not getting money from the city council, we're just getting a reduced rent. Then we also wanted to make a place that was open, so we started to have artists in residence programs. Then we have alternative art fair, so once a year we could open the whole house for alternative art spaces. And in many different ways we would like to open up the place, so it's not just, you can say, artists that have each their own studio and their own closed world, but that you sort of open up and engage.
Being this kind of work collective is really good for everybody. I think it would not have been what it is had it not been for this collective idea that everybody needs to do something to make this place work.
Of course, it's a popular place, and we have a waiting list which is closed because it's too long.
To have a studio, you need to apply for the waiting list. And so there's a committee who considers if it's a professional person, they can be accepted on the waiting list. And then from there have a studio. But then we also have the main hall where everybody can rent a space. So you can actually be out here, or you can
sublet it.
You have to think in really, really long terms, and sometimes you get very tired of it. When you're working together with the city council, or it takes 10 years sometimes to reach your goal. And I think it's actually very important to know this, because people tend to get a new director after 4 years, but I really don't believe in that, because it takes a long time to build up a place like this.
When the municipality ruled the place, they used 2.5 million a year to support it, and also the rent above that. So when the artists took over, it was actually cheaper, for it was only the rent that they paid for this. But of course, we have a contract with them, and there are some things each year we need to do. We need to work together with schools and have workshops. We need to have an open house once a year. We need to interact with the local society. We have an art fair called LCPH once a year, a weekend, where alternative art spaces or artist-driven art spaces meet and exhibit and talk and discuss. So we have some
all these
some
obligations in a way help to make us a resource for the area and the city, and I suppose the reason why they think we're still a good idea. The residencies is one project in a way, where we run different programs. Sometimes we run a program for a couple of years, and then we have another, and we've been running different programs over the years, and currently we have 2. That can be everything from large-scale art production. It's quite practical if you're really building something big, as you can see outside, that doesn't fit in a normal studio, and then you call and ask if you can build it here. And it can be stage work as well, for the stages.
Scenographies.
Scenographies. It can be for a music video we had last week, huge props for that. It can be really anything. one of the reasons that artists would like a studio here, because they know it's a nice place to be, and they know that we have like a weekly lunch together, all of us. We have a kitchen which is also like a studio but with a kitchen, so it's rented out to a catering company, and they make lunch for us every Wednesday. And things like that which sort of help build community.
And I think what's also very important is that everybody there work together, keeping the space a good. If something is broken, it's not that you call somebody and tell it's broken, that you might do it yourself. I mean, this do-it-yourself thought is quite vital for making an economic situation that you don't have to pay for everything, that you can do it yourself.
The benefit is definitely that it is the artists who designed this place. We define our goals and we define what do we need, because there's a lot of organization that looks a little bit like this, but very often they don't have so many artists. Then they start to have small businesses or similar things, and it's okay, but it makes a different atmosphere.
Yeah, and that artists need good facilities to work in. If you work with large-scale sculpture, or even if you don't, it's still not possible to have it in your home if you're a professional artist. And a studio space is usually really expensive, and then it's double rent in a way. So these studios of course cost money, but they're low market rent in that way. The whole network of sharing resources is really important, and that's every kind of resource really. In that way, it's a very resource sharing community, which is why it's so popular, because many artists out here usually say that they wouldn't have gotten to the place where they are in their career if it hadn't been for the other artists here, and the fact that they're able to help.
In the beginning, this was a remote area and we were just here amongst a lot of homeless people. But now it's totally changed, so they built new houses just around the block, and the prices has gone up. But it also made the city council to decide if they wanted to destroy this place or they wanted to keep it. And they were just on this, they didn't really know, but then they decided to keep it. And so, yes, we are also, in a way, they're selling the houses around here more expensive because they refer to us as a cultural, interesting place.
I'm here at Fabrikken because it's the best place to work when you are an artist, a professional artist in Denmark. It gives me good colleagues, good space to work in. I have my own studio here, which is very nice with a good light and so on. And then I have a bigger space outside where I can go and work if I have bigger projects. The fact that we are so many people gathered here means that we talk to each other easier, and we easier find out to make projects together. I wouldn't have come this far in my work and in my career if I wasn't here, that's for sure.